Hi, just wanted to welcome you guys to the revival. I'm Cody.
I'm Eli.
So we're basically starting a Christian, I guess more of a faith religion type podcast. Just want to be able to come on here and be able to speak what we have learned, what we have experienced, to outreach people in other places that we cannot reach from our own city. Basically, we thought this was a good idea because we are in dark times and we're in desperate times. People are looking for something that they can look to and look up to. I think that is God and definitely what we should be doing. So let me hand it over to Eli for now.
Well, yeah, I believe that as well. I believe that we owe a lot to God, and I believe that in this society today, it's gotten a lot askewed. Not many people realize that they can put their faith in the Lord as much as they do.
I definitely think people are just like nervous and scared to do that as well. Just to outreach, like I understand, like you're gonna go through tribulations and everything like that.
Trials.
Yeah, exactly. But just lean on God and you'll be able to take care of the rest.
Yeah. Well, basically, what I'll be doing, or to introduce me, I've been baptized before. Again, this is the revival.
Yep.
I'll be using and drawing from my own experiences and opinions about subjects, and maybe even give a controversial opinion or my own. Even if it may be wrong, I'd be willing to admit that and also talk about why I and maybe even others are misguided in that and may even be wrong and have the same opinion and just not know it. And, maybe they're just misguided about things in our society today that it's not easily, communicable of, how it was 4,000 years ago to how it is today. You name a difference, there are a million.
Yeah.
And it just goes to show that sometimes going back to the roots of believing and speaking your belief and in your heart and in your soul you believe in God and you confess with your mouth and say,
absolutely,
confess your sins. And the thing is, there are a lot of things that I think that people are missing out on life too because they may or may not believe in Christianity.
And I think, sorry about the dog, but I think a lot of people are definitely misleaded in this generation and definitely the last couple generations as well, just because a lot of people go to church and then they're completely different when they're there, and then they leave and live a completely different life. And I think that's just majority of the people, honestly, just because you see them, they act different in church, and then they get out and they're completely changed, they're completely different. And I feel like a lot of people, like you said, they're definitely misled just because of that fact right there. They see people, and like I've heard from a lot of people, it's definitely contradictory that you see people like that and you're like, why should I live my life like this if people are living like this and saying they're Christian with their mouth? But it's just like Jesus said, the Pharisees are going to believe with their mouth and speak with their mouth, but inside they truly don't believe. And I think that's our main focus here, is just to be able to spread the word, definitely have different thoughts and be able to bounce off of each other.
And be willing to call out that, I don't believe in this, or maybe there's this much more to believe in. And the thing is, a lot of people will believe in something or be taught something and then come to later realize that that's not really how it is. That's just the way that you were taught, and that you were taught maybe a fraction of it when you were only supposed to look at the big picture.
Yeah, for sure. And I think what we want to do is, for now, I think we definitely want to just connect with our friends, bring them on the show, even if it's just a one-on-one kind of thing with different people that we do know, and just to hear their beliefs and to hear what they have to say, their testimony. I know also we were talking about how we're going to go back home this summer. Well, my home. He lives around here. So definitely go back home. I know what lake I want to go to, but that's going to be in the future when we talk about it more. But I definitely want to go and baptize people and definitely bring a light to people, just because I recently got baptized. I know you got baptized. I don't know when, but
I've been baptized actually for a while. I got baptized when I was, I want to say I was 14, maybe early 13, because I was still going to a church with my grandfather and mother and that side of my family before they kind of dropped out of it.
fair enough.
And I mean, being baptized the way that I was, I had like a whole community around me. There were loads of people. I mean, literally a line of like getting baptized. Like we were baptized in like this little pool. So they literally like dunked us and then moved us on, and like it was like a assembly line. It was like an assembly line of getting baptized. It was kind of funny, if I'm being honest. But I mean, in that way, you lose the personality and like the personal feel of it almost. I mean, you still get that. I still got that. But hopefully what we'll be able to do for people is give them more of a personal relationship and a personal connection when they do get baptized.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, like, since I've been baptized, I definitely feel like I've lived a different life and definitely changed out a lot of things. Like, I used to be very focused and strong on marijuana all the time. I mean, it's called weed, but whatever. And I definitely think I use that as an scapegoat all the time, just to come home after work from a long day and just to use it and escape from everything that I had. And used to go out every single weekend. I definitely think it all changed. Like, I've always believed, I don't know about you, but definitely always believed, grew up in a Christian family. And it wasn't until, like, I would go on and off with my grandma to church, but it wasn't until November when she passed away that something hit me. It was like, I need to come back. Like, I need to, like, also, I want to see her again. But it was something that was dragging me back, and I think that's the beautiful thing about God, is that He allows you to believe, and He's like, all right, you want to see it on your own? Go see it on your own terms.
Yeah, He gives you that freedom. Like, Christianity isn't about, being the diehard every day, go to church, read the Bible, confess your sins, pray every meal, every morning, every bathroom break, just to be that extra about it. But it's more about, you have to feel a certain relationship, not only with God, but with yourself towards God. Like, you have to say to yourself, hey, I can say to people, I comfortably believe in my Christianity, even if I don't go to church every Sunday, or even if I don't believe, or even if I don't read the Bible every day or every week. There are a lot of things that in life, the Bible, it helps you with, but it also takes time out of your day to be able to read it. Like, yes, there are little scriptures that you can get in, like, 2 minutes out of the day, and those are great. I love those. Like, I have those on my phone. I've seen you post them.
Exactly.
I mean, they're great, but it's the fact of the trying to put everything away and sit down and read the Bible that I think a lot of Christians nowadays who say they're Christian don't do. And I can say that I'm guilty of that too, because I think that maybe I should read the Bible more. Like, I have the Bible app on my phone, and like once a week I'll go in and I'll read like a verse, or like I'll get like a verse notification and I'll go in and read it, and I'll be like, awesome. And that's kind of it. And so a lot of it is, I think that in our generation, it's been more of like we can push it aside because we're so busy with everything in our lives. But when it comes to actually having a relationship with Him, that's where we need to flip it, and we need to be like, this relationship matters more to me, even though I do have all these responsibilities. Like reading the Bible every night before bed. Like, my father did that for me and my sibling growing up. I mean, we read all the way through Ephesians, we read through Romans, we read through Leviticus. I mean, it was just...
Leviticus is a good one.
Exactly. I mean, and bringing your family together too, like, people don't often talk about how Christianity can bring families together. Not only people, but families.
Oh, for sure they did.
Like, I can say for certain that my family is not closer since we stopped going to church, stopped believing. And it's not like we don't have believers in our house. It's not like we're not Christian. It's just the fact that we haven't, like, my family hasn't gone to church in so long. And so, like, speaking on that fact, going more and reading more and doing more, I think that will really help not only me, but the generation that we're in.
Yeah, for surely. Definitely, definitely it. I have to cut that out. What was I about to say? Definitely what he was going on, to piggyback off of it. I mean, just because you think you have to do this every single day doesn't mean you can't grow your relationship with God or Jesus closer. Just because, like he says in the Bible, the Holy Spirit dwells inside of us and is always there. It's whether you want to be able to outpour with it, if you want to learn with it. And like you said, not going every Sunday. I go every other Sunday just because I work every other weekend. So it definitely is kind of hard for me because I have to work at 11 o'clock on Sundays, or I open on Sundays. So being able to get to church on that day is definitely difficult for me. But I have started a ministry class, and I think I am growing closer with God at that time when I'm there from 5:30 to 9 o'clock. And I definitely think it's beautiful just because I'm learning more things about God than I have. And definitely from stop smoking and everything like that, it's opened my mind again to where I can remember the things that I've learned when I was little in Bible class and Bible study and all that stuff as a little kid, like just flowing back into my mind. And it's definitely a struggle sometimes because the enemy wants to have a stronghold in your life, and he has a way in once you do things that tempt you, and it's definitely hard. From our generation, I think lust, and I definitely think drinking and smoking is definitely the biggest things that is continuing to hurt our generation, just because, I hate to say it, but girls have things in their bio about like God and stuff, but excuse my language, but they're out here shaking their ass every weekend. And it's like, I get it, you want to change, you want to be better, and that's the thing. Like, I'm not judging you, like, you're doing it on your own term, on your own will, but I don't think like you should be doing that every single weekend. If you're doing that, like, we're not here to judge you, we're not here to push it onto you, we're gonna talk about the minuscule things that people can see and what people think about. And
we're not just heading on women either. Like, we're gonna switch to men.
Yeah, for surely. For surely. Like, it's not even that. It's like the guys that go there. Like, definitely going to a bar now and being around people. Definitely, no offense, it feels like everyone there is like either possessed by a demon or like just influenced by the devil. Just because you're so drunk and everything, and like guys are just continuing to look at girls like they're an object and continuing to push them like towards them to be, oh, let's go home and do this, blah blah blah. Like, I used to be that way too. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and lie. Like, you used to look at women and be, oh, I want this one. Like,
of course. I mean, when you see a beautiful woman, you can't help but admire them. But God says, don't be unequally yoked. And what that means to me is when you get in that kind of situation where, you know, you may be on a date with a girl, or like you may meet a girl and you're like, are you Christian? Or like you don't know how to ask that, and you like bring up religion and you're like, what do you believe in? And they may or may not say like, atheism or like Christianity or Buddhism. Who knows? Doesn't matter. But it's the fact that God says not to be unequally yoked because of the reason that when you want to share your life with somebody, share your experiences, you don't want them to feel, or you don't want to feel like you're disgusting them or putting weight on them by talking about your religion, by saying something religious, by expressing yourself in that way religiously to them. Like, imagine your partner wasn't the same religion as you. Like, and they just scoff and laugh at you. Like, how would that make you feel? Is that a recipe for a healthy relationship in your eyes? Not to mention his. Not to mention God's. Is that a healthy relationship in your eyes?
No, for sure.
Like, that's one thing that I personally don't understand about our generation is right now. With dating is, and I'll be the other side of that argument, is that guys, you know, we'll say we're loyal and we're honest and good men, but the thing is, we'll get it wherever we can get it from. And guys will not be ashamed about it. And the thing is, like, you have to be willing to say, hey, that's not good for me. That's not something that God wants for me, and that's not something my family, friends, my best friend, my dad, my mom, my co-workers, probably even your schoolmates would want for you. Like, hell, even a roommate.
And the thing is, too, it's it's how you feel definitely afterwards, too. Like, having a one-night stand, even just having sex in general with someone that you don't have a connection with, that you don't love. Like, instantly, like what comes to my mind is, I've had this with multiple girls. Like, I've had sex, and instantly afterwards, like, I don't want to hang out with you right now. Like, I don't even want to be in the same room.
Like, you regret it immediately.
Immediately. And that's the thing, like, it sucks because it comes from a point from us in this generation too, from watching porn and seeing like, oh, we want this girl, we want this type of female. And
and not only that, but it being normalized as we're growing up that guys watch this, guys do this, you know, and girls will normalize it too. They'll be like, oh, guys are dogs and guys are this and guys are that. You know, you can go on any real Instagram, Facebook, anything like that when you look up like those people who walk up to people and ask them questions about their relationship.
Yeah.
Like 9 times out of 10, it does not end well. Like, it's stupid to watch, really. Because if you think about it, this person is not only imploding the relationship, but he's also saving them from making further mistakes. And that's the thing. Like, I think that with this podcast, I think that we'd like to call out a lot of things that not only we are making mistakes on, but we think that a lot of our peer and generational peers are making mistakes on.
For surely, and it's not to bag on you guys, it's not to throw hatred or anything towards you guys at all, but we're just pointing out the things that we have noticed as being young adults and growing up in this generation. And I do believe that we are the generation that is going to get closer to God. I think, like in the 70s when they had the Jesus People movement, I definitely think we are going to continue to grow and continue to be in this type of relationship and grow closer to God as we get closer. And I think it starts from us admitting that we're wrong, admitting that we've sinned. Like, everyone is not perfect. We are born into sin. Our mother committed sin when we were born. And that's the thing. It's always going to be around. It's always going to lurk around. He could put a foot in your face and literally, or in your doorway just to get in and tell you lies that, oh, God doesn't care if you do this. God will forgive you. Yes, He will. But if you keep making the same mistake and make the same sin over and over again, as a father, I think, why should He forgive you? Why should He allow you that forgiveness? Even though He will, it's just, you keep doing it, you keep going back. And it's like,
and think of it like this. When you keep going back to that thing that makes you feel good, makes you, you know, yearn for that. It makes you feel that satisfaction, and it's not glorifying him, and it's not like adapting to him. It's one of those things where I don't even know, like you have to really think about it, and you have to pull yourself back and say, hey, I don't want to be this way anymore. And
I definitely think there's a lot of lukewarm Christians out there too that just, like I said, think forgiveness is everything. It's like, oh, I can continue to sin, I can continue to do this,
right.
And I get like,
yeah, but the bill comes due. The bill always comes due. Now, that doesn't mean that you're going to be damned to hell. No. That means that when you finally open up to him, finally start looking at the world in a different set of eyes, in a different perspective, that's when you will understand what you're doing or what you did cost you. And that's what I mean by the bill will come due. Whether it be emotionally, whether it be something that maybe goes wrong in life. I mean, we all have that thing that, I for sure do. I have something that I wish never happened, that I never did it, that it didn't exist. But God gave me the strength to keep moving forward. And I think he put not only me, but this guy in this situation to where we can reach out to whoever might watch and give you our experience.
I hope it reaches to a mass amount of people, not just because I want to be famous or anything. Like, just because we're doing this doesn't mean we want to do this because we want to. It's all thanks to God. Everything that we say, everything that we are going to do is all glory from him. Don't give us thanks for anything. Like, it is nice to hear compliments and everything along the way, obviously, because we are putting our time and dedication into this. But to piggyback off what he said, like, when the bill does come due, you don't know when your final day on this earth is. You don't know when your final minute is. And like it says in the book, he can come like a thief in the night, and instantly the rapture will go. Like, I know there's a lot more things that I think need to happen, but I definitely think we are in the end times. And I think that was definitely what brought us to do this a lot. And I definitely think God put this in my life for a reason. I think he wants us to evangelize and go out and, like, this is our way of doing it. Like, obviously
this is our way of spreading the word of God and sharing what we think to what we hope are fellow-minded people and fellow-minded Christians, maybe even Christians to be. And I think that what we hope out of this is that you'll enjoy and have fun with our talks, and maybe even enjoy the topics that we talk about, not only for the controversial opinions of it, but for the actual, like, ideas that we'll throw out here eventually. I mean, this is just our intro.
It is, but I mean, we're gonna unpack a lot of things probably for the next 20 minutes, which I'm perfectly fine with. That's the thing that I wanted to do here. At first, was a little bit nervous, but that is okay. Like, we're not just only gonna be talking in this room or in another room. Like, I think we want to go, when it does get warmer, go downtown and talk to people, like, why you believe, or what strung you not to go this way anymore, or what took you from this straight line to peer off and go into the other lane. Like,
we might even ask them some, like, controversial questions, like why don't you believe in God, or what do you believe in Christianity? I mean, there might be some weird questions like, do you believe the rapture is coming? Or, you know, again with the end times, is that he believes they're coming, and I'm not sure, but I have a few friends that I know of, including this one, that think it's coming, and that's been enough for me to kind of open my own eyes and say, hey, I think I need to switch things around here. And so that's what I'm going to be doing through this podcast, is not only helping him, but also working on myself and working on my own religious relationship with God, and hopefully helping other people do the same while I'm doing it.
Surely. That's a great answer, honestly. And not to throw you under the bus or anything like that, but when we first started coming up with this idea about 3 months ago, I definitely think you were the person in the right lane. And I think you are getting closer and closer to merging back into that straight line.
Mm-hmm.
And it's beautiful to see, dude. Like, just to see you coming back and telling me that you prayed the other night, it was just like, whoa. Because I prayed for you earlier that day. I was like, I just want him to be back. I can tell he's getting back and closer. And you didn't know. You didn't know what to believe. Like, you told me, I believe.
Well, it's because, I mean, maybe someone else can attest to this or, like, relate to this, but I've been force-fed religion my entire life.
Oh, for surely.
Like,
I have too.
Like, it just, I would wake up, I would have to wake up for Sunday morning. I mean, hell, I wanted to sleep in sometimes. What kid does it? Come
Exactly.
on.
We dreaded that as
Literally,
kids
growing up, I dreaded going to church so much that I actually started to sleep in church. In the big I'm not lying. Like, I swear, like, somebody from my old church might end up finding this someday and say that that's true, but I did it. And I regret it. I do, because I wish I had the strength to, at that age, I wish I had the strength to listen more, to have that patience, and to ask for that patience. I mean, I definitely don't have that patience all the time. You definitely don't, that's for sure.
I definitely think I do more now than I did.
Well, of course, right?
And I think that comes from my testimony. I just want to say, like, my grandma did die, and that definitely brought me closer. I was still smoking. I was still kind of drinking at that point. It wasn't until after her funeral that it kind of hit me. Like, I was here, no offense, having sex with someone, and I definitely feel like I got condemned by the Holy Spirit. Like, after I felt completely off, completely regretted what I just did, and I definitely think after that moment, it was something that definitely clicked in my life that was like, I'm always here for you. Like, I'm never gonna leave your side. Like, you may have thought that I was gone and I wasn't there with you, and it was like a sense of peace that just came over me, like knowing that I could give my life to someone that wants my life if I didn't want my life to begin with. And you definitely have helped me with that too. Just talking to me and everyone embracing it at work and just helping me grow as a human and grow in my spiritual journey and not pushing me away. Like, obviously sometimes I like making jokes about it, but that's the thing that you have to deal with as you go into this. Your friends are going to leave you. Your friends are going to judge you.
They're going to ask you, why are you doing this? Why are you changing? Why are you being a different person? Why are you being, such a stick in the mud? Why are you being this way? But the thing is, don't let them say that. Don't let your mind suck that in, because that's not true. That's not what is actually happening. They are fogged over in their minds. Not even their minds, just their eyes. They can't even see straight.
Definitely, and too in their heart. I definitely think it strings from your heart. Like, yeah, your soul is one, but I definitely think yearning from your heart and wanting something that's more than you, and that is bigger than life itself. Like
striving for that, being a part of something bigger than yourself.
And I definitely think, like, I questioned it a lot growing up, just because I was force-fed it too from my grandma. But now I look at it like she was the greatest teacher that I've had in this world about all of it. Even if she tried to scare me about revelations all the time about the world ending, man, What 11-year-old wants to hear that? I know it is scary, but I definitely was afraid. Like, just knowing
11 years old is kind of crazy.
It is, but I never regretted her telling me that. Like, I always kept it in my head, and always kept it in the fact. And it wasn't until, like, I told you this, my mom asked for a voicemail from my grandma, like, because I have a bunch of voicemails that she sent me, because I always have my phone on Do Not Disturb, so I obviously just go straight to voicemail. But, yeah, it was, she was talking about, like, me coming back over to stay the night, and I was walking my dog, and just listening to it in my AirPods was the thing that she said to me was, I know what you're doing, and I wish you wouldn't. I just wish you would stop before it's too late. And I think that was when it hit me that I needed to stop smoking. I don't think it was just from that voicemail. I think it was God just sending me something. Like, I think the Holy Spirit and God talks to you in ways that you're not going to hear His voice. You might in some ways, but I definitely think it strings from visions, dreams, and definitely in the Bible.
Well, also, I think that it also dwells in your own morality. Like, the thing is, when you do something wrong or when you commit a sin, in the back of your mind, or even in the front of your mind, you're like, hey, I just committed a sin. I shouldn't have done that. Just like you said about the experience where you had a woman over, and right after, you immediately regretted it because you knew that in the Lord's eyes, that was a sin. That was something you should have never let happen. And the thing is that nobody's perfect. Okay?
Obviously not.
Nobody's perfect. We all do things. We all sin. We all make mistakes. There's no ifs, ands, or ways around it. And it just happens. But the thing is, choosing to be better than your sin, that's the real choice.
And it definitely sucks just because it wasn't that, like, she's not here anymore, and it definitely hurt. It was just like, I feel like God was definitely telling me to stop, and you don't have to rely on that anymore. Like, you have me, rely on my word and my word only. And I definitely think I took a lot from that moment. Not that I changed completely, like, I'm still on my walk, I'm still changing, and I'm still learning a lot. And it wasn't until I got back home from walking the dog and I was sitting there, I was thinking about it, I was like, I gotta do something. And I got up, grabbed all my weed, grabbed all the stuff I have, and threw it away. And that was big for me because He knows how much I liked it. He knows how much I would do it. I would go through probably 3 or 4 carts a week. I would be spending so much money on it, and it was just ridiculous just to have money and to just throw it away for no reason.
For something that you're consuming, not even like food that's like healthy for you, or even like something you literally run off as a human. Like,
yeah, we
gotta have it.
No, for surely. And I think it stemmed from me being more lazy too, and like you said, consuming. Like, all He wants you to do is consume His word, to consume and become better fruitful with Him. And like we were talking about earlier, it's the free will that He has given us to choose our way. He shows us ways that He won't be with us, and He wants you to see it from a different perspective. And I think that's the thing, like, He allows us to see from a different version of what He has given us to what He can give us when we do believe and what we do give to Him.
So let me add on to that real quick. So people who are Christian, but like you believe, but
like Pharisees.
But in that analogy, you're blind to it. You can't really see your way out. You can't really see a way to connect or get closer with God. It's about refining. It's about, almost think of like closing your eyes, turning around or spinning, and finding a new direction to go. Because at one point in your head, you're going to feel the word stop. Now, you may not think or even believe that is religious. But when you actually, in that analogy, when you actually close your eyes and believe in God and switch your direction, a lot of things will change. A lot. Like, in my life, complete 180 from what I was doing. I was living away from home. I didn't have a single trustworthy friend there. I had no support system. I had no real job that I could rely on and that I could be like stable in my employment. Like, and then not just one day, but it took a few months, and then my world started to shift, and I started to look at it as all these things that God has given me from day one that I need to be more appreciative of. And that I think that in its entirety, that as people, we should be a little more grateful for what God does give us instead of what He doesn't. Because in trials, He gives trials to His strongest soldiers. And He knows whether or not you can handle them. And the thing is, when you get so many different trials, you start to lose your way. And you start to feel like, I don't know which way to go. And that's where you need to have that perseverance of, you may have another trial up ahead of you, but the thing is, believe in Him and believe in the things that He has given you, and you'll make it through pretty much any trial. And if you don't, you got Him. You got your friends, you got your family, you got your supporters to rely on. And even if you don't have supporters or friends, or you have a very small family, go to church. Go to any church in your area. I guarantee you will find one person who is willing, more than willing, happy to talk to you and listen to you about your life struggles. I guarantee it. Now, that's not just because, Christians are, they're good listeners and that kind of stuff. No, it's because when you go to church and they've never seen you before, I've had this happen to me. They want to know about you. They want to know your struggle so they can bring you in, so they can help heal you. Not only heal you, but heal your relationship with God. Therefore healing you.
No, for sure. I definitely think, don't be afraid to ask for help. Don't be afraid to reach out and talk to people about it. Just because you think you're going to get turned down or turned away, it's not what's going to happen. Like you said, they're always going to be there. Even if you don't want to talk to them, you can talk to the one greatest therapist that ever existed, and that's just God. You can sit there and just speak your mind like a normal person and spit out the things and what you think. And I definitely think it does help, just because you take a lot of relief off of it, and no one's gonna hurt you. No one's gonna turn you down. No one's gonna say you're wrong, this and that, or you're gonna go to hell. And if someone does, walk away. They're not the person to talk to. As Christians, we're not supposed to sit here and tell you you're gonna go to hell for what you're doing. I can kind of say it in a sense, but I'm not gonna say you're gonna go to hell. I am not your judge. I'm not your jury or your executioner. And that's what a lot of people do think. A lot of people do judge, and I don't think it's right from the Christian community. I think it definitely stems from the church. There's a lot of people inside the church that do kind of just want to judge you for who you are.
And not only that, but they spread it to people around them. Because when you have somebody who does that and believes that they are right and that what they believe in God, and no matter what, you should believe what they believe because it's right, I think that's utterly idiotic. I think that you need to ask questions. You need to be, why am I like this? Why is this okay? Because I don't think it's ever okay to say that someone is going to hell or call them out for a sin. Because sins are in silence 95% of the time. they're in silence.
Exactly.
Because you are the only one who truly knows that you are sinning.
Yep.
You are the only one. Because it's a matter of not only your morality, but your belief. That comes intertwined with each other. And when someone is morally telling you that you're wrong and that you're damned, that's not what a Christian should do. A Christian is supposed to support and love thy neighbor, just like they love thyself. Does that sound like love to you?
No. And I know that, like, at the beginning of time with Adam and Eve, like, we were made in God's image, obviously, and I think we weren't going to be able to sin and this and that, and God wanted us to live the life that He has given us. And it all stems from the evildoer called, the evildoer is Satan, and I think he is a stronghold in this world that just keeps feeding at you. Like, he fed at Eve. He's like, just do this, you're not going to die. Like, God says you're going to die if you're going to eat the apple, and it's not. Like, no blame on Eve. Like, she did what she thought was right and ate the apple. And sin has stemmed from that point on for the rest of the time. And
it's the argument of sin of, is it big or is it small? Does it matter or is it just inconsequential? And the thing is, nothing is inconsequential. Nothing. Every little decision matters because it builds your character. It builds who you are, not only as a person, but as a Christian.
And I definitely think, like you said, like, all sin is equal, no matter what it is. The biggest sin that you will never be forgiven for is blasphemy against the Holy Spirit, and that is going against it and saying that it's not there, that it's not true, and that it's not real. And it is. Like, it stems from Jesus, it stems from God, and the only perfect person to ever live was Jesus. And I think that's the beautiful thing, is that He gave His one and only Son for us to be able to live this life and to be able to be forgiven by His blood that is only by the cross.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I definitely think what we're going to go more into in the next couple things, the next couple episodes, is definitely want to talk a couple things about Revelations more, dive deep into that, and definitely go through the Psalms, just because I definitely think it's powerful and probably one of the best books in the Bible, just knowing that we're all like David in a sense. Like, he did do wrong, but he yearned for God's heart. He wanted God's heart. He was a man after that man. Like, he wanted Jesus. He wanted God. I mean, even though Jesus, Yahweh, whatever you want to call him, He has been here since the beginning of time. He is the Word. He saw Satan fall from the heavens to hell, and hell wasn't ever designed for us. Hell was designed for the demons, well, the angels that were fallen, and Satan. And it wasn't until we started sinning that we had to be judged for what we done. And just like people think, oh, I can't be forgiven. It's not true. Once you are forgiven, you are blessed and saved and washed like white snow. And Jesus throws it behind Him. Just like GM Matt, he was telling me, like, it's like a judge jury kind of thing. Like, God is the judge, and He's like, oh, wow, you've done this, and that, and then Jesus steps in, like, no, this is mine. He is mine. She is mine, and I bless them and forgive them, and they're saved. And that's the beautiful thing. But yeah, I definitely think we're definitely gonna talk more about Revelations. I think that might be the main topic next time, just going in about...
We're going to have more focused points.
For surely.
And this was more of like our introduction, kind of spew a little back and forth, kind of get to let you know what this and what we're trying to do with this is kind of going to be about. Like, we kind of jumped over a few different conversations and topics.
I think it was good though, like
Yeah.
just to be able to, like you said, spiel around and be able to talk about it more. I definitely think we're gonna do this, try to do this every week. No guarantees, might be every bye.
Yeah, it might be every bye week.
But no, definitely we want to be able to just reach you guys and hear from people of our generation that sees from this kind of point of view. Like I definitely think in this side, like growing as a believer and growing as a new believer, even though I've known this my whole life, is good, and I'm going to learn more and be able to speak about more things. And him coming back to all of it, he knows a lot. Like I can't lie. Like, he definitely knows a lot. He knows his verses and everything like that. Just like we said, we just definitely want to reach you guys. And I think this is like the best way because, yeah, we can go out in our community and go talk to people, but I think being on the internet definitely spreads it to more people around than it does just in one area. Like, obviously, we want to help our community and be able to speak in our community, but I definitely think this definitely will reach a lot of people, and I hope it does. And if you guys have any questions or even want us to talk about a certain thing, like...
Yeah, if you want us to
feel free.
talk about, like, a certain Bible verse or something, like, you want to give us a topic, we'll be more than happy to, like, talk about it or even answer questions about it. Like, if you want to do, like, hey, do this next episode or something like that, we'd love to have it. But, I mean, obviously, we'll choose what we're going to do.
Obviously, yeah.
But, I mean, just don't ever feel afraid to reach out or even put a like on there, man.
Yeah, just put a like or even comment, and we'll be more than happy to give you our number. Obviously, we'll do this on the side. We're not gonna just give our number out to people on the internet. But yeah, if even in our DMs, if you just want to come and talk to us and
reach out to either one of us,
feel free. Like, we're not. It's a little bit nerve-wracking sometimes, but I mean, we're definitely here to help. And we're doing this through him only. But yeah,
if we can, I think that what we'd like to do here is build a little bit of a community. Like, we want to have you guys reach out to us and us be able to answer and reach back out to you guys if that's what you want.
Yeah, and as we grow, we definitely can bring some of you guys on and definitely talk about your experiences and what you're going through and see how we can kind of help you. But yeah, I mean, this has been fun so far. Definitely can't wait to see where we're gonna go with this and what we're gonna do with you guys. But yeah, this has been the Revival with Eli and Cody. So
I guess we'll see what's next.